King John of England, 1166 to 1216, is remembered as one of the most notorious and dangerous monarchs in British history. Known for his cruelty, treachery, and incompetence, he alienated his barons, lost vast territories in France, and nearly destroyed England through heavy taxation and reckless decisions. His disastrous rule led to the creation of the Magna Carta, a document that would later shape constitutional law. Despite being overshadowed by figures like Richard the Lionheart and Henry II, John remains infamous for his ruthlessness and failures, which ultimately made him one of England's most hated kings. John was born on December 24th, 1166, as the youngest son of King Henry II and Eleanor of Aquitaine. He was never expected to inherit the throne, earning him the nickname John Lackland because he was not given any major territories like his older brothers. However, fate worked in his favor when his elder brothers died or rebelled against their father. After the death of his older brother Richard the Lionheart in 1199, John took the throne of England. His reign, however, would quickly spiral into a disaster marked by betrayal, war, and oppression. One of John's greatest failures was his inability to hold onto England's vast French territories. At the time of his coronation, England controlled lands in France, including Normandy, Anjou, and Aquitaine. However, John's poor leadership and military incompetence led to the loss of Normandy to the French king Philip II in 1204. This defeat was a major humiliation for England and set the stage for conflict between the two nations for centuries. John's attempt to reclaim these lands through military campaigns failed miserably, draining England's resources and angering his nobles. John was infamous for his cruelty and treachery, even toward his own family. In 1203, he was accused of ordering the murder of his nephew, Arthur of Brittany, who had a strong claim to the English throne. Arthur mysteriously disappeared after being captured by John, and most historians believe John had him executed. This act of brutality further damaged John's reputation, as it was seen as an unforgivable crime even in medieval times. Aside from his military failures and family betrayals, John was also known for his extreme greed and oppressive taxation. To fund his failed wars in France, he imposed exorbitant taxes on his barons and the clergy, forcing them to pay enormous sums. He often seized land, extorted money, and even imprisoned people who could not pay. One of his most infamous acts was the imprisonment and alleged starvation of Matilda de Braose, a noble woman whose family had fallen out of favor with the king. This kind of tyranny made John deeply unpopular among the English nobility and common people alike. John's relationship with the Catholic Church was equally disastrous. In 1207, he had a major dispute with Pope Innocent III over the appointment of the Archbishop of Canterbury. John refused to accept the Pope's choice, leading the Pope to place England under interdict in 1208. This meant that church services, baptisms, and burials were banned throughout England, causing widespread fear and unrest. In 1213, John was forced to submit to the Pope, humiliated himself by surrendering England as a papal fief and agreeing to pay annual tribute to Rome. By 1215, the growing anger among John's barons erupted into open rebellion. The barons, tired of his excessive taxation, failed wars, and cruel rule, united against him in what became known as the First Barons' War. Facing defeat, John was forced to meet his rebellious barons at Runnymede in June 1215, where he reluctantly signed the Magna Carta, a document that limited the king's power and granted certain rights to nobility. While John had no intention of honoring it, the Magna Carta became one of the most important documents in history, laying the foundation for constitutional government and the rule of law. Despite signing the Magna Carta, John quickly reneged on his promises, leading to renewed conflict. He attempted to fight back against the barons with the help of mercenaries, but faced growing resistance. In 1216, as war raged across England, John suffered a sudden and painful death, allegedly from dysentery, though some speculate he may have been poisoned. John's death marked the end of one of England's most chaotic and disastrous reigns. His young son, Henry III, inherited the throne, and his advisors quickly reaffirmed the Magna Carta to restore stability. While John is often remembered as a weak and cruel king, his failures ultimately led to the establishment of legal principles that would shape democracy and governance for centuries. Today, King John is widely regarded as one of England's worst and most dangerous monarchs. His reign was marked by betrayal, war, tyranny, and incompetence, earning him a lasting place in history as a villainous king who nearly destroyed his own kingdom. Despite his failures, his legacy inadvertently contributed to the development of political freedom, making him a key, though infamous, figure in English history. You said,